Hi, welcome to this module. So in this module, we'll be looking at a date, the different date methods in JavaScript and things like that. Okay. So JavaScript as such has a date object. Okay. And at the basic, what this date object does is it displays the current date and time based on the user's browser. So it'll look at the user's time zone, where they are and everything, and it'll display the current date and time. Okay. So it displays the date in a string actually, okay, in the time zone of the user's browser. So it always looks at the browser, not the system. So the browser has from where the IP location, right? The IP and everything from where they're accessing the internet. Your JavaScript is going to know that, so it's going to display the date and the time based on that. Okay. So let's see how it works. So let's create a variable called a d. And to create a date, to show the date, new date, all you have to do is just go like this, new, and then just date and a parenthesis. Nothing inside of it. You don't have to give anything inside of it, just new parenthesis. So you create a new date. And as I told you, at the basic, it's just going to give you the current date and time based on the user's browser, right? So new, like this. And D has to be capital. And if I do a console.log of this, let's see what we get. Let's refresh. Now look at that. It's telling me Saturday, March 14, 2020, all of these things, right? So as you can see, the browser displays, it displays the day, okay, and it displays the month and then the date as well, okay, and then the year, and then it's displaying the current time up to the millisecond, okay, 1858 is minutes and 36 are not milliseconds, up to the seconds, 36 is the second, up to the second. If I refresh, it's going to be different because the minute has changed now. So it keeps getting updated based if you refresh like this, okay, and then it's going to give me the GMT, the time zone, and it's finally going to give me the time zone in words as well. So it's going to give me all of those things in your console. Because I've asked for it in the console, it's going to give me in the console. I can also do an alert if that's what I want, and I'll get the same thing. See, the same thing inside my alert. So that's how it works. Okay. Okay, and also always remember that this is caps, alright? So it's a very thorough output, as you can see. So in order to create the date object and display the date, by default, you can use the new date constructor. So this is actually the date constructor, and it'll have the current date. So that's it. So if you don't mention anything if you don't mention any argument or parameter inside of your parenthesis like this, then what you'll get is what we just saw, right? A very thorough date and time of the user, right? But you can customize the output as well, okay? So by default, if you use the date object alone, you'll get the current date and time. But you can generate a date based on the parameters you give. For example, you'll get something in. So by default, you'll get something in this particular format, right? In this format where first day and everything, right? The exact format, it's not going to change, but you can actually specify the format inside of your date like this. For example, okay, I'll just give you what you need to give inside, okay? What you can give inside. So you can give these things. You can specify the year that you want outputted. You can specify the day or the month, or you can make it month and day. It's all up to you. Whatever you give, month, you can give the day, and then you can give the hours, and then you can give the minutes, and then you can give the seconds and the milliseconds and things like, and you can give things like that as well. So as this particular syntax specifies, you can generate the date by giving the exact values you want to generate the date on. Okay, I want you to keep something in mind before we create the example though. In JavaScript, the months start from 0. Okay, in JavaScript, months start from 0. So if you want to specify January, it has to be 0, and December has to be actually 11 like this. Okay, May is 4, and so on and so forth. So let's just create an example. So let's give a year. I'll just copy all of this and place it here. Okay, so you have the possible values inside of it. Okay, so let's first give a year in here. I want to give 2020 because that's the year we are in right now. So I'll just give 2020 inside of here. So I want 2020 displayed, and then I can just say I can give a month, right? I can give 03 like that, and then I can say 14 for the day, and then I want the hours. I want the hours to be 21. No, 19 hours maybe, and then minutes to be 05, and then seconds to be, do I have to give the seconds? Okay, 08, and then milliseconds is 10 or something like that. So if I refresh, okay, so I'm getting an error. Decimals with leading zeros are not allowed in strict mode. Okay, I get that. So I shouldn't have given 04, 05, and 03 like that. Strict mode is pretty good like that. So 08 too. Let me remove all of that. So month is 3. This is the minutes, and this is the seconds. Okay, let's just refresh. There you go. I just got Tuesday, April 14th. April 14th. Sorry. Okay, as I told you, months start from 0, right? So if I wanted March, so I gave 3 in here, but I should have actually given 2 because 0 is for January, 1 is for February. For March, it's going to be 2. So if I refresh again, see? Now I got March. Saturday, March 14, 2020, 19:05:08 GMT and Indian Standard Time like that. So the millisecond is not getting outputted at all. That's fine. But if you remove the seconds in here, if you remove the seconds, you'll get an output. Let's see what we get. Just the output. Okay, if we remove the seconds and just keep the minutes in here, there you go. You only get 00 as the output if you remove the seconds. And if you remove the minutes parameter, you'd get complete 00 like this. Okay, you'll get the output where 00 is mentioned in place of both seconds and minutes as well. And if you just mention the first 3 parameters, that is just the day, the year, the month, and the day, and no hours at all, let's see what we get. Well, the time is completely 0 in this case, okay? So that's fine. And if there are only 2 parameters where you only mention the year and the month, what would you get? So it'll automatically by default, it will take it as the first day of the month, okay? So that's okay. But can you mention just one parameter? I'm not really sure if you can. If I just mention 2020, what happens? Right, let's see. Well, that doesn't work at all. So you can't mention just one parameter and expect that to be treated as just the year, okay? If you mention only one parameter, it will be treated as milliseconds, okay? It will be considered as milliseconds, and your browser would automatically consider that as milliseconds passed from 1/1/1970. So what it's done is, that's what it's done. So January 1, 1970, but the number of hours and those things are different now. So if I give a bigger number here, you'd understand what I'm talking about. So see, it's passed a couple more hours in here. Okay, so if you give just one value, it will be considered as the milliseconds. So you're better off not doing that. And don't just give 2 like this, okay? Don't just give if you want to mention the year, don't just give the last 2 digits like this. If you do it like this, then this won't be March 2020. Let's see what it is. Sorry about that. Note 02. So just 2. See, if you give 0, it's considered as octal. So don't give 02. Okay, see, look at that. It's actually considered as 1920 and not as 2020. So if you want the current century's date, then always mention it in 4 digits, okay, in the proper format, 2020. Okay, that's it. So that's it for this lesson. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.